bills came in, and I was really, really struggling. So we literally had to go to the food bank. So I pretended from the outside, successful network marketer. But in reality, my life was really, we were ready to kick out of the house. They sent us a letter. The electricity bills have to be paid, otherwise they turn off the electricity. And I just had a newborn baby there at home, and I was thinking, what should I do? So literally at nighttime, I covered my head. I was taking a jacket so no one would recognize me, and I went to the city to go to the trash cans to get bottles and cans out. To recycle them, to pay with the money I paid the electricity bills.
Welcome to the Excellence Project. My name is Eric Worre. Today we have my friend Torsten Sedlmeier from Germany. This is a network marketing entrepreneur, 32 years experience. He's going to talk about his early success, his absolute life falling apart, and how he rebuilt to the top. I think you're going to find it inspiring. So with no further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Torsten Sedlmeier. Torsten, how are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, Eric.
So you are, tell me where you're originally from.
I'm from Germany originally, yeah.
Where in Germany?
I was raised in the Stuttgart area in the south of Germany, but the last 30 years I used to live in the more or less in the Mannheim, Frankfurt area.
Got it. So how many languages do you speak?
Actually 2, but I learned in school also French, but I forgot most of it.
Yeah. So English, German.
English, German, and
a little
French.
bit of French.
Yeah.
Can you understand any of the other languages at all?
Yeah, I understand Spanish. I learned the words, not the grammar, but so I understand. I understand a little bit.
So yeah, I only ask because I find it fascinating because as an American, almost I shouldn't say all of us, but a lot of us speak one language.
Yeah.
And I'm so very grateful that the business language of the world seems to be English.
Yeah. That's right.
I'm just praying that it doesn't change to Mandarin or something, some other language. Because I would be have to have an interpreter with me at all times.
Yeah.
And I live at a household filled with people who speak 2, 3, 4, 5 languages. It's interesting.
Yeah.
You're a successful network marketing professional. You've been involved in the profession for how long?
32 years already.
32 years. So I want to talk about the lessons learned in that journey. But before we do that, just give me a little bit of background on you. What was your upbringing? Were you always entrepreneurial?
Yeah.
Those types of questions.
Yeah. I was raised in a family with 5 kids. So, and age 12-year-old, my hobby was cycling. And so I wanted to have a bicycle, but my parents could not afford. And so my dad says, after school, you have to work. So I did some stuff, bringing out newspapers and stuff like this. And a friend of my dad, he had a cosmetic company. And so I was working there, packaging stuff after school.
This is at 12 years old?
Yeah, starting with 12 years old. So I was there, and so I made some money to buy my bicycle. My goal was to be at the Tour de France one day, but yeah, later I was 18 and it didn't work out with the Tour de France.
Yeah, so when you're mentioning cycling, I'm like, is it right around the town bicycle or
no, really tough,
real Tour de France?
Yeah, I was
serious cycling.
I was really serious cycling. I waited until noon, until the sun was really down, and I went up the mountains. So I was actually a mountain driver.
Mountain biking, yes.
Not mountain biking, mountain. So if you go in the Alps, so that's I wanted to go really fast because I was very light and I had a lot of muscles. So I was really going fast up the mountains.
Yeah, I watched those, and I've been friends with a few cyclists at that level that are kind of lean, but their legs are huge.
Yeah.
So how did you know at 12 years old that you wanted to do this? Because did you have a friend who had a bicycle or something?
Exactly. He was competing, and so we went to school together, and so The good thing was when all the teenagers went into trouble, we were just training. And
You're
so
training and training
I've
and training. That was your dream.
never smoking, never any drugs or whatever. So because we were just living a healthy lifestyle.
So you got some jobs here and there so you could buy a bicycle. Back then, how much was a high level bicycle for that type of racing?
Oh, yeah, it was about 2,000, 2,500, something like this. Yeah.
Yeah, euro.
It was German marks at
Marks
this time.
at the time. Yeah,
At this
before
time.
euro.
Yeah, before euro. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
It was a month salary from my dad.
yeah, so it was no joke.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So did you become a competitive cyclist then?
No, I got
Really?
no when I turned 18, I got a car, and then I started not to train too much. So it was uncool to go to discotheques on the bicycle, so I went with the car. And over 6 months, then I lost it.
You
Yeah.
became a party boy.
I became a party boy. Yeah.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
So were you a decent student in school?
I was quite good, yeah.
Yes.
So, but I could do all this. So the school was really good. But as I worked in this cosmetic company from my dad's friend, so he offered me a job. So when I finished school, yeah, I went into the office, and then I became the second boss in command in the company, and did sales and did everything. So that's how I became into this business
The business world. So did you skip university?
I didn't do university.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
I did for like one tiny moment, but it was very quick. Wasn't for me. But so you found a situation where you can get into business.
Yeah.
Before you get into that, I'd just be curious. I have my perceptions,
Mhm.
but tell me what it's like growing up in Germany culturally. What's the culture in Germany, if you're to describe it?
Okay, I'm not typical German, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, well, tell me the typical
The
German.
typical German culture. Yeah, on time, be very strict, organized, discipline, and so on. Yeah, so
There needs to be a system for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In Germany, we have the joke, say you have to apply. If you have to apply for, you have to get a paper. But to apply for the paper, you have to apply for the paper.
Yes, apply for the paper to get the paper.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and then fill out the. So very disciplined. And you said you weren't typical German.
Oh no. My mom comes from Bratislava, Slovakia, and my grandpa from Hungary. Yeah, so I was very influenced with this Slovakian Hungarian lifestyle. So and my dad also is very not typical German. Yeah.
When you say not typical German, are you saying not disciplined, or are you saying more of a free spirit, more?
Free spirit,
more
very
emotion.
hardy, more emotion and everything. Yeah. So we are very emotional family.
So was that difficult to fit into German culture when you weren't the same, or you made it work?
I made it work. It's okay. Yeah. So people are we deal with every kind of people, but I was not so structured or things like this.
Got it. Because I'm not structured either. I have to really work. You know, we had a discussion at our mastermind we had last week of systems.
Yeah.
And watched my friend Rob talk about systems. It's just like, wow. That's another level of system.
100%.
I'm surprised he's not German with the amount of systems he was able to put together. So you get into the cosmetics world, helping your family friend.
Yeah.
And you start doing a lot of things for that business at a young age?
Yes. So I became the second boss in command in this company, and
just a traditional cosmetics company.
Yeah, they were producing cosmetics, especially hair cosmetics, and later on, I did a lot of sales for them. So I was traveling and did all this in the salons, the sales for this cosmetic company. So
how big was the company?
It was not so big, but they did it very unique because they were labeling with a small salon with their own name on it. So
I see.
that was a really
So
a
it's
niche.
like white label customized products for salons.
Yes. So even a small salon could afford it. So it was really a niche. He fits in totally into the niche.
And how long did you do that?
Until I became 22 and got to know network marketing.
You got introduced at 22. My same age I did. Introduced to network marketing at 22. So tell me your first experience getting introduced to it.
Okay, I didn't like it at all.
Well, tell me what it was.
It was not actually the company for me. It was also a cosmetic company with perfumes and stuff like this. The company doesn't exist anymore. But my ex-wife got involved with this. But I had an experience with a scam system before because my brother, a couple of years before, lost 5,000 German marks with a scam system. And so I thought, oh, that's all the same. So I didn't want to get involved with all this.
So was I'm curious on the first exposure. Did somebody show you a video? Was it at a meeting? Did your ex-wife, did she sit with a friend? What was the process?
Yeah, so the family approached her. And so we met this leader. He was just living next door. And so we meet up and he wanted to push me there. But I did my cosmetic. But she did it. She started this. She didn't become successful, but she started it. But that was my first introduction. And then a couple of months later, another company was ready to hit Germany. I don't know, should I name the company or
if you like?
Yeah, it was Herbalife. Yeah.
Okay.
So they said, okay, we are opening the German market, and so the same family came again to me and said, okay, let's do network marketing. And I said, no, I don't do it. I was really against it. I was totally against it.
Yes.
And
so because of the scam company that your friend got involved.
My brother.
Your brother.
Yeah.
So you had this perception that anything that looks and feels like this must not be legitimate.
Absolutely. And so then we have been out in the night, and my ex brother-in-law, he was telling me about networking and how this compensation plan works. And so he was really on a beer coaster. He was riding this 1 gets 1 gets 1. This is 3 get 3 is 9, 27. So and then 5
little
25
napkin presentation.
Yeah. So this napkin presentation. And I was thinking, if this would be true, that would be too good it's too good to be true. So I really didn't believe it, but I said, if it would be true. And so I decided I will go to a meeting with them. We drove 40 minutes into the countryside, and there was this meeting, not in a hotel room. It was a guy who did an advertisement company, and he put some chairs in his company. And while the meeting was running, it was not a big meeting, maybe 12, 13 people, I found out when they showed the products that half of the room went to the front and were telling their stories. And then half of the room afterwards, after the business presentation, went in front telling their business story. And I found out I was the only guest in the room.
Yeah. So everybody in the room was in the business except for you.
Yes.
It was like a whole little Broadway play.
Absolutely.
Just for
me.
Just for you. So you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
These guys are already in. They're doing a presentation. Why is so many people involved just for, when I'm the only one?
Yeah.
But was there enough kind of evidence from seeing this, or?
I tried the products. They told me, I don't know the English saying, the pudding in the pudding is the proof, or the proof.
Proof is in the pudding. Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I try the products.
See if it's for real.
Yeah. And I needed to lose some weight. It was not overweight, but 5 kilos. So I tried the products, and they really worked, and I really felt great. And I said, okay, not too bad. And I said, okay, my goal definitely was to make 2,000, 3,000 German marks. And at the end, one day, 10,000 German marks. If I would reach it, 10,000 was at this time. I only knew one person, the friend of my dad, was a cosmetic company who did 10,000. So he was an entrepreneur. And I said, okay, if you have this lifestyle with 10,000, that was my dream. But I was thinking maybe in 10, 15 years, I make this. So, and 2,000, 3,000, that was my goal to start.
So you were going to just do this part-time?
Yeah, in the beginning.
Were you still working in the cosmetics
Absolutely.
business?
Yeah.
All right. So you're working in the cosmetics business.
Yeah.
Somebody shows you the power of geometric growth, and you
Yeah.
see the, multiplication instead of addition and subtraction.
Mhm.
And you go, that sounds interesting. You saw the ability to build a team.
Yeah.
And you see the presentation, try the products. The products are good.
Mhm.
You're like, okay,
Mhm.
I'll give it a try. We'll see.
Mhm.
So you tell me about how the first 3 months, 6 months.
Okay.
This is a while ago, right?
Yeah.
So
that was a really interesting journey because I was really good in sales. So I was selling a lot of the products out of the trunk. Really, I had all my trunk full with it. And so wherever I went, people were approaching me and said, oh, you lost weight. How did you do it? And so I was selling the product out of the trunk, literally. And at the end, I couldn't build a team. So I didn't know how it's working. And my sponsor quit after 2 months. So I was going, okay, what should I do now? And then, so I went to the guy who had this set up this meeting, and I asked him, and he was already top 10 in Germany. And I asked him, what should I do? How I want to do this networking and build a business. And he started to explaining me exactly what to do. And I exactly followed what he did. And I struggled. 6 months, absolutely no success. I was going, oh my God, this is not working for me. Yeah. So, and after 6 months, I decided I'm out. I went to him and said, I'm out. And he said, why? You're doing so great in sales. I said, yeah, I'm probably selling some more of the products, but this business building, network marketing is not working. And he said, yeah, but didn't you do what I told you? And I said, yes, I did exactly what you told me. And then he said, okay, I have to admit, I had some ideas and I told you all these ideas to do. And as I saw they are not working, these ideas, I didn't tell it to my team who is already working and have success. So I said, I was the guinea pig guinea pig for the idea. And he said,
you're the experiment.
No, if it would work, you would be the top distributor then. And I said, but for 6 months, I lost my time. So that was the time when I decided, okay, I take my own responsibility. In the meantime, I was on a meeting with Jim Rohn, so I was really lucky.
Yeah.
And I heard all these great things. If things to change, you have to change. If you want to be better, you have to be better. Work harder on yourself than on your job. And so I heard all this and said, okay, then I have to take responsibility. And I said, I will read every book. I will go to every meeting. I will go to every training. I will talk to all the successful people. I will pick up all the things which I heard. I try them by my own. And if they are working, I will teach it to my team. And if it's not working, I will kick it out. And I decided no one in my team should ever suffer like me in the beginning. So that was my decision I made. And that's how it actually started.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes people... uplines, they throw around stuff that sounds fancy, but doesn't really work in real life.
Yeah.
I made the same decision. I was like 3.5 years in to my network marketing business. And it was, counting on my upline and hoping to get lucky and those types of things. And then I just said, well, hold on, I'm just going to become expert. I'm going to become a professional level.
Yeah.
If it was cycling, I'm going to be in Tour de France. I'm going to learn how this thing works. So I'm going to ask whoever I have to ask. I will go seek it out. I'll go find the answers. And I made my own playbook.
Yeah.
For product sales, here's what works.
Yeah.
For retention, here's what works. For recruiting, here's what works. For duplication, here's what works.
Yeah.
Team building, launching, all those different things. Here's what works. Event promotion or events in general, here's what works. So it sounds like you did the same thing.
Absolutely.
But it only took like 6 months for you to make this decision.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it took me 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So you're way ahead.
Yeah.
So congratulations for making that decision. The other thing, it's probably better that you didn't have a great upline.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you have a great upline, you don't have to like go learn this stuff.
Yeah.
They'll just take you down to hold you by the hand like a little kid and walk you through the opportunity versus becoming a pro, becoming a professional.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you before you felt like you were a network marketing professional? Like, I'm not perfect. I can always be better, but I can do this.
To be honest, from the feeling, it was really a couple of years. I felt this. It was not a fast journey. I was not the fastest. I became later in this industry. They called me Speedo, but in my early years, it really took me up to 8 years, before I really said, okay, I hit the high ranks and all this kind of stuff. So and then I felt, okay, now it's time. I had to rebuild this business with the company 3 times. So we were hit by negative press. So we had to restart again. Then one of my top leaders, who is today a 7-figure entrepreneur who wanted to quit. And I told her, no, we are doing this together. And she is now the number 1 in her company. Yeah.
Nice.
So, I really had, I was lucky to help her to stay in the business. And she became the number 1 in the business in another company. And she left. Yeah. And she took all the people with her. So I rebuilt it. So it was really a tough time, but I really learned it. And today I know I can build it from scratch again without even knowing anyone. Yeah.
Yeah. You have the skills. Once you're a pro.
Yeah.
What I keep telling people is they're the asset. You're the asset.
Well, you told me this
more than the company, more than the products. I mean, it would be great. Like, think about our parents and our grandparents. Think like our grandparents' generation. A lot of times it was, and so even our parents' generation, depends on what generation you are listening or watching this. But there was this kind of pattern of go to school, learn a trade, go to work for a company, work for that company for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Retire. Mm-hmm. And, don't have too much time to enjoy your life after retirement. And in the last 20 years, it's been more like every 5 years, there seems to be some sort of company change, or, you go to the top of where you can go in that company. I'm talking corporately now, or business. Mm-hmm. And then, somebody recruits you from one company to another company, or you start your own, or different things happen. But usually in business, and it's become faster and faster. And it went from 30 years was normal to 15 years one, and then 15 years another. That was normal. And then it became every 5 years is kind of normal. And even today, it's even faster. Sometimes it's a few years. You work a few years here, then you upgrade, work a few years there, upgrade, work a few years the next place, because things are changing so fast. But in network marketing, it would always be best, right? If you can find one company, first one you find, first company you date, you go on a date and you get married and you live happily ever after, have lots of kids, grandkids, great grandkids, and grow a huge business. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way for things outside of your control. You have to, the company has struggle, or there's issues involved, and you find yourself navigating a path through the profession. But in that path, companies come and go, products come and go, compensation plans come and go, leadership teams come and go. But the leader, the skill-based person, the expert in the middle, that's the real value ultimately. So tell me this, in the 32 years, have you ever counted up how much you've earned in 32 years? If you added it all
never.
up?
I have no. I never counted up, to be honest.
I'd be curious as to if you had to think about it.
Yeah, I had actually I had a really interesting journey because the founder of the company died. And so the company was struggling. They made a lot of changes in the company, and I didn't feel home anymore. So I left the company after 15 years. And for the next 5 years, that was the worst time of my life because being successful in network marketing, I was looking for a new company. They were over-promising, under-delivering. Products were not registered. They in one company, so I made a change to another company. This company, I found out the products are not really working. The story around it was really great. Another company, then I joined another company. This other company, I found out when I went to a leadership training, they asked me to take a suitcase to Europe. And I said, what's in the suitcase? And I said, yeah, our products. And I said, what should I do with them? And I said, no, we are going to pick it up then and bring it to the warehouse to sell it. And I said, so why are you doing this? And I found out the products were not even licensed and we were selling the products. And I was going, oh my God. And so from really becoming really very
Wild West.
Wild West, and from really successful, the next 5 years were the worst. So I was doing the same thing, working, but after during this 5 years, at the end, I was just making $500 to $1,000 per month. So I had to work as a DJ on the weekend to for the family, but it wasn't enough. So bills came in, and I was really struggling. So we literally had to go to the food bank. So I pretended from the outside successful network marketer, but in reality, my life was really we were ready to kick out of the house. They sent us a letter. The electricity bills have to be paid, otherwise they turn off the electricity. And I just had a newborn baby there at home, and I was thinking, what should I do? So literally at nighttime, I covered my head. I was taking a jacket so no one would recognize me, and I went to the city to go to the trash cans to get bottles and cans out. To recycle them, to pay with the money I paid the electricity bills. So that's actually how bad the situation became. And at the end, my ex-wife told me, sorry, I'm out of this. And she just overnight, she got to know someone else who was richer than me, and she left the house with the kids. And I was going, that's it. So my life was totally done. And I said, what should I do with my life now? So I was really down, and I didn't know what to do. And yeah, that was probably the toughest time.
And when was this? Like
that was 2011.
2011, 12 years ago.
Yeah, 2011.
So you have some success, you become a bit disillusioned. There's a shakeup inside the company. I've been in that spot too. I was with a company that. My first company that was so successful. They were just everywhere. They were maybe $800 million company back like 1990.
Wow.
Huge. Mm-hmm. And they went from 800 to like 200 million in 4 or 5 months. Kind of a combination of a lot of bad press and some difficult situations. And at the time they were selling water filtration systems. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody minded. Share its company at the time was called NSA, and they hadn't pivoted yet. Ultimately they pivoted to health nutrition, and they're now called Juice Plus. Mm-hmm. And they're a very successful company, incredible legacy, people around the world, very successful. But at the time it was very fragile, and the people at the top were kind of okay because as people were struggling, the business would roll up to them. But I was not at the top, so my income went from basically, $8,000 or $9,000 a month to maybe $2,000 a month overnight. So I felt like I couldn't weather the storm and get to the other side. So ended up making a change, but that's always challenging. It's always emotional. It's always difficult. I've made mistakes in those seasons, emotional fear of loss and urge or scarcity, instead of realizing that you just relax, you're the asset, just go build. Mm-hmm. You didn't need to worry about one side or the other or where those distributors or leaders come from, just go build. So I learned that eventually, but as a young man, I had this scarcity mentality that, I got to go get as much as I can, as fast as I can, versus really building a team. So the last 12 years, you hit bottom 12 years ago.
Yes, totally.
And a total bottom. And were you disillusioned about network marketing? Did you think about doing something else because you're a good business person,
I was thinking about all options. I said, okay, now my family, kids are gone, I'm broke. And I was thinking, maybe I should give up everything and go to Thailand, live on the beach. I was thinking about this really for a moment. And then I said, okay, my kid is my small boy. And I said, no, I can't do this. Yeah. So I made the decision, no, I don't give up. So I was looking around for another opportunity for another company. So then I heard this one company, 2012, comes to Europe. And they have the first meeting in Rome, Italy, but I had no money to go, literally. And so we were 12 people then driving in a van down there to Italy, sitting down there. And we were staying at a youth hostel. And we went to this meeting and I saw the big picture of this company. I didn't know that some of the people already working 2 years from even though the company was not open. So there were already 3,000 people at this event. And I was going, oh my God. I wish that I would have known this earlier. But I made the decision when they announced it 2 weeks later, there should be the company is officially opened. And I made the decision, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. So you decide that's in 2012.
April 2012.
April 2012. Hey there, just a quick interruption, especially for network marketers. Whether you're just starting out or if you're ready to level up, GoPro Academy has just what you need to take your network marketing business to the next level. Get step-by-step training on how to get started or restarted the right way, and then get everything you need to earn 6 figures or more and become a network marketing pro. To learn more, just visit goproacademy.com. I've helped millions of people learn how to recruit tens of thousands of people to reach 6 figures, and I've personally helped more than 1,000 people achieve 7-figure incomes and above in network marketing. I can help you too. Head to goproacademy.com today, and I'll see you there. So I want to ask you, as a person who builds and lives in Europe, there is a bit of a trend that companies seem to not do things properly.
That's right.
Especially at the beginning. They're like, they started somewhere else. They started in the United States, or they started in Japan, or they started wherever. But then they go to expand in Europe. And for a long time, it was like, UK, we'll do UK first. That was the starter. And then from UK, we'll see where there's interest. But what happened in practical reality, it's like United States, we have 50 states and most of them are connected to each other. So if you started a company in Nevada, it would be very difficult for that not to leak over into California.
Yeah.
Or into Arizona, or up to Colorado, or to Utah, the neighboring states. So entrepreneurs being entrepreneurs, let's say the company opens in France. Well, it's awfully hard for a person not to say, well, just sign up in France and then we'll just drive the product over to Germany. We'll drive the product to Switzerland. We'll figure out how we're going to do this. We'll set up a little company here or a company there. And the company itself hadn't registered the products in the new countries. They hadn't applied for all the business licenses. So they weren't officially legally open. So the distributors worked around it. And sometimes the companies were involved in that wink, wink decision. Yeah. And sometimes they weren't involved. The distributors were just doing it. There was for a long time, and still a little bit of a process of this not for resale, NFR model. Like, we're going to ship products into these markets for customers, but it's quote unquote not for resale, which was code for we're going to open up as many countries as we can, and we'll see where we get traction, and wherever there's enough interest, then we'll go get our licenses.
Yeah.
Right. Which has been a bit of a challenging, because those companies don't like it, or excuse me, countries don't like it when people are running around doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, to test out the market. Because that's kind of what it was. It was like, test the market. We'll see if there's demand. If there is, then we'll get our lawyers to start putting the license, open up the office, do all the processes. But that was really big for like the last 20 years, I would say.
It's still very common.
Is it? Is it still?
Yeah, it's still very common. Yeah. So people in Europe, as we have the EU, so obviously UK is not anymore part of the EU. So it's getting more difficult with UK, but the rest of Europe, you just there's no borders anymore. In the beginning, in my early Herbalife days, we just did it. We drove over to the warehouse in France, and then we were looking at the borders where is not really control, and the products were in the trunk. So, but today there is actually, as the EU is very open, there is not really controls in the border. So people are just driving over and so it's very easy to get the products there. But so companies think, which is, I think, a really wrong decision to make, not to get all the things properly done, because over the last couple of years, the authorities really they don't like it.
They're sick of it.
Yeah, they're getting sick, and all these.
They're seeing
tricks.
the repeating pattern.
Oh my, yeah.
And they're like, enough. Do it right or don't do it.
Yeah.
Stay out of our market unless you do it right.
Yeah.
I've been involved in situations like that, and I was curious to your opinion, because opening up 60 countries or whatever is sexy story. In one day or 1 month or whatever, we're opening up all these countries, but they weren't really officially open. They're only officially open in like 2 countries, and they're going to test the market, see where things go. But it's part of the profession that needs to get itself cleaned up.
Absolutely.
As far as like either commit to the market or don't. Find a way to determine what is the real demand in that market, and then open it right. Have an office, have your registration, have your licenses, have your policies, procedures, follow the local rules, make sure your product is, like officially licensed product. I was involved a long time ago with a nutrition company, because sometimes, the other unintended consequence, and we're talking about the dark side of, global expansion inside of network marketing, is there's a nutritional product, and they were launching in Israel, and their competitors didn't want them to come in, network marketing competitors. So the network marketing competitors went and complained to the regulators, number one. Number two, they sent in an anonymous tip that the products had drugs inside the product. So it like held the product in customs for like 9 months to slow it down. But in truth, they were doing a not for resale model instead of, officially licensed model. So it took a while for everything to go through the process. There's a lot of pain in the process. There's a lot of false expectations created in the field from those products. But I do see a new group of companies. Some are the old established companies, like Herbalife went through its struggle when you're involved in Giant today. NSA, Juice Plus went through its struggle, Giant today. I think the new generation of companies, it's a combination of old guard they're doing it right. They might not be as fast or as crazy story, but they're proper and all the licensing is in place. And then second, there's new companies that are willing to say, we're only going to be in these countries. And if you go in those other countries and we find out, there's going to be problems. So that are tightening the process and are willing to go a little bit slower and figure out other ways to determine demand. And once they determine that demand, then they officially launch.
Yeah.
So are you seeing the same?
I think I see the same thing, and I think most of the problems network marketing has with the repetition and with all these things are self-made problems. So product licensing is a really big issue in Europe, and so the regulatories they go behind the companies, and that's no fun. Getting letters, then official letters from the government and stuff like this, and they go behind the top distributors. In the meantime, in the beginning, they were telling them, okay, these distributors, they are doing it on their own. They're independent distributors. But in the meantime, regulatories, they found out. And so they said, okay, no, if you don't keep these distributors under control, we go behind the company in the meantime. So that's how they stopped it, because they found all these excuses. And also this over-promising and to all these things, that's self-made problems. And I think if we, over the next generations, want to have really a bigger, better repetition, so we have to work for ourselves, and we need to help the companies to understand that we should really be more, licensed and more
professional.
Professional.
Yeah, we call this podcast the Excellence Project for that reason. And it's a challenge for all entrepreneurs, business people, companies to commit to excellence in whatever you're going to do. I'd rather you be excellent in a smaller geographical location than be an amateur everywhere.
Yeah.
You know? So you hit rock bottom, you have success, everything falls apart.
Yeah.
12 years ago, 11 years ago, you decide to rebuild, and you do rebuild, and you have a successful business and a successful life. You've grown large organizations around the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, after I hit this, and they announced they will come to and open up Europe, and I was in the meeting on the way home. I called the first people, and then the launch was 2 weeks later. And within 6 weeks, I hit the top rank of the company, and the business exploded. Became the biggest distributor in Europe after only 2 years from being really at the bottom. I became a 7-figure earner in the $1 million club of the company, and so my life totally changed. So, and I was always thinking before, God, why did this all happen to me? But what happened, the company saw my story, and it was so inspiring that I was really, really down. So they sent a camera team to my home, and we went literally to the places where the food bank, where the trash cans were.
Oh, I'd love to see that. You still have it somewhere?
Yeah, it's still on YouTube. Yeah, still on YouTube.
You got to send me the link. We have to see that.
I went and to the places where I was DJing and stuff like this. So and they made a live 15-minute lifestyle video out of this, and it was really fun to see. When I went to countries where I didn't even know some of these people, I built up tens of thousands of people in this company. And I saw people came up to me and said, "Thank you so much." And I said, "What for?" "Yeah, for your story and for inspiring us." And I said, "Okay, but what do you mean?" And so they said, "You were really way below our situation, and you worked yourself out of this, and that inspired us. And so therefore, I understand God's plan," or whatever you say. Okay, you have to really go down to inspire people, and
you don't have to, but
you don't have to. But it was probably meant to be.
You don't have to, but it can be inspiring, right? No matter what your story it is, can be inspiring.
Yeah.
It could be, I decided I was going to be successful and I've always been successful. That could be inspiring to some. Or I started at the bottom and I went up. You started kind of in the middle. You went up, then you went down.
Yeah.
And then you built back up.
Mm.
I started at the bottom. I was at the middle for a while, 3, 4, 5 years. And then I went up like crazy, kind of stayed there, had my financial Armageddon from a bunch of bad business decisions 22 years ago, and was in a terrible spot, and rebuilt because again, you're the asset. So what are the biggest lessons that you've learned over the course of these 32 years? If you think of your, like the top lessons off the top of your head, somebody's looking at this, whether they're new person, medium person, high level person, you know, what's the voice of experience for you?
So the really the big lesson is never ever give up. Yeah, keeping your big vision. Yeah, focusing on this, put it into work. And I always say I'm the most positive guy I ever met in my entire life, because I really believed it's possible. Yeah, and no matter if you going down or what circumstances, it's humiliated. I think is the word.
Humiliated.
Me.
Embarrassed.
Because I was maybe sometimes in my life when you have success, and so you're I had to get some knock from.
You had to be humble again.
Yeah, and that's what I learned. Yeah, to be humble again, and friendships, friendships in this matters. Yeah, because if I wouldn't have some friends who became my mentors, yeah, who believed in me and they encouraged me and said, "You can make it." Yeah. I don't know if I would have gone through all these situations, because I always had offers then from the corporate business world, because they saw he is successful, so I could change to the corporate world very easily. But I love this freedom, being my own boss. I always say I have an allergy. I have a boss allergy. Yeah, so I wanted to have this freedom, and so therefore I said, okay, if there would not be some people, and even you, that's actually when we got to know each other, 2013, 14, when I showed up at the first events, didn't even know that you are not wearing the buttons and the stuff. Yeah, so we went to your events, and we were asked to take this off because it's an independent.
Yeah. What he's mentioning is at our big GoPro events, we ask people to not like promote their particular company, or their particular product. So if they had, pins on, lapel pins and those types of things with their company name, just take those off. This is a generic environment. We're all here to support each other.
Exactly.
We don't want to create any distractions we want it to be a safe place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what he's mentioning.
Yeah, and therefore, I learned also a lot of from you and the GoPro books and these events, GoPro, because it really helped our organization to develop, to become leaders, to really turn into professionals. You put it on a book, on piece of paper, how to become a professional, and that was so inspiring. Seeing, okay, we are not just some people who are just trying to become somehow successful. So now we have systems, now we have a way how we can really become successful. And that's why, for me, it's a no-brainer. Everyone who starts in this industry telling you have to get the GoPro book, you have to go to the GoPro events, and therefore people starting to realize it's really treated like a business, not just like a hobby or whatever. Be committed to this business.
Yeah. So never quit, get better every day.
Yeah.
Learn the skills.
Absolutely.
Attend the events that can help you.
Absolutely.
And friends were really, that's what I heard. Friends were very, very important to get you through difficult times.
Friends who became mentors.
Yeah.
So who believed in you.
Yeah.
And I got really a friend who was not upline. Yeah. And he was just a sideline. So we were actually competition, but he really liked me. And he really became one of my biggest mentors in my early days. And without him, I don't know where I would have been. Yeah. Obviously, I heard all the stuff from Jim Ron. I was
virtual
lucky.
mentors.
Yeah, he became a virtual mentor. But Jim, I was lucky to. We had lunch and dinner together, and all this kind of stuff. Later on, I went to the to other trainers, and later on, I see all the things you are teaching. I heard from Jim, and I said, "Oh my God,
of course,
we hear all this good stuff." Because when unfortunately Jim died a couple of years ago, I was really sad. I say, will this live on? and you made it really happen that it lives on. Yes, and I heard over the last day some of the things you were. I said, oh, I heard this in my early 90s. I said, yeah, and it's still there. It's still there.
Here's what I've learned: truth is old.
Yes,
truth is old. I mean, thousands and thousands of years they pass down truth. It's what I try to teach is the principles that will never die.
Absolutely.
But sometimes we put different wrapping on those things to make it relevant to today.
Yes.
How do we use the internet?
Yeah.
Plus those things. How do we use the different strategies from team building plus those things?
Yeah.
How do we build a brand plus those things?
Yeah.
All of those different things. So yeah, truth is old. I mean, there's a lot of ancient books that have been passing truth down, and every generation feels like they learned it for the first time. It's like, wow, what you think about actually becomes reality. What you can imagine in your mind, you can actually attract into your life. And they all think that that's like, they're the first one who thought about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a byproduct of the Jim Rohns of the world, and also all the books that I've read and all the mentors that I've met, and and even people today that are pulling me forward with a bigger vision. The other thing that you mentioned in that description of some advice for people is get a stronger vision.
Absolutely.
Think bigger. Mm-hmm. I think if there's if I could wave a magic wand over everybody in network marketing, that the wish that I would have is that they would think bigger, because they're thinking way too small. There's so much capacity. There's so much blue sky that if they'll take the lid off their thinking and imagine at a higher level, then they'll start to be able to enjoy things at a higher level.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you still excited about network marketing after 32 years?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
The journey now really starts. Yeah. So I feel now I'm ready to level up, to go to the next level. Over the last couple of years, I branded myself. Yeah. That's nowadays really important to brand yourself, to make yourself a brand. And so, what I learned from Jim is also in the early days, when you are not so skilled, then you definitely need to invest more time in it. Later on, you become more skilled, so you can now need to put in less time. But the best way is to put skills and time into it. So that really drives you up, and you can come to the absolutely next level.
Yeah. So this podcast being the Excellence Project, tell me what excellence means to you, and what is excellence in your next chapter? What does that look like?
Yeah, excellence really means to become really a professional, but it's not about me. I had all this fame. I was on stage and everything. So, for me, it is that my team is going to be professional, becoming excellent. So I believe, I'm a big believer in, yes, you should get all the shine in the beginning for a while. But please then step aside and let the sun of the company, of your products, or whatever of this industry shine on the next generation. And then teach them to step aside. And if they are not doing that, you have to push them on the side.
And what you mean by step aside is don't make it all about you.
No, absolutely.
You're a strong leader, but help develop other leaders. You stay a leader.
Yeah.
But you help other people become a leader, and then they do the same. They stay a leader, but they help other people become the leader.
Yeah.
Because if you get too addicted to the fame and the notoriety and how people being a celebrity, and nobody else is on your team, that's not excellence. Actually, no. You have a good brand, but you don't have a great business. Mm-hmm. And the business is developing leaders. The leaders are the engine that drive it all. So how many really effective leaders do you have on the team, and how can you grow that number? That's the key.
Yeah.
So Torsten, give everybody like your final thoughts as far as what the next couple of years are going to look like and what they should do about it.
I really believe that this industry will really be much bigger. I think everyone is playing too small at this point. Yeah. So if you have a certain income, you starting getting a little bit lazy, and you're saying it's enough. It's okay. And I personally think, over the next years, there is a new generation also of leaders. Everything will go faster. So the internet with all these things, with Instagram and all these things, what we are doing by branding ourselves and stuff like this. So it will help, that more people in the world will see that network marketing probably is not the perfect. It's not perfect, but it's probably the best way for most people to build a business from home, from working from home. And if we educate them, it will go much faster. So I see people developing much faster over the years. It took me when I said in the beginning, 8 years till I felt I'm a professional. Today, there will be people after 2-3 years who become much better. And I'm really impressed and say, oh my God, they are really in the speedos. Okay, later on, I was quite fast, but now these from zero, I had already my experience, and they going from 0 to 1 like this. They have now these opportunities working over the internet, which will really go really fast. In my old times, we did the fax machines and all these kind of stuff. So you had to send to every distributor the tons of faxes every day, and it took so much time. And today it's really easy to build a business from home. And I really wish that more people looking into this industry and seeing it as what it is, a really business, a serious business, and then make the decision to go to the excellence, to become a professional, and really listen to podcasts like this, to trainings what you're offering, and then they see they can create for them and their family this kind of lifestyle while working, but also enjoying life. So that's what I really love. And don't make it all about yourself, but get people really on the next level as well with you, because it's boring being up there alone. It's much more fun to make it all together.
Well, Torsten, thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming all the way from Germany to Las Vegas, United States, to sit down and talk with me. I appreciate your contribution. I'm excited for your next chapter.
Thank you so much.
So thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much.
So that's my conversation with Torsten. I hope you got value from it. Listen, if you did, make sure you share this with somebody else. Make sure you like this podcast. Make sure that you subscribe to wherever platform you're watching or listening. Maybe even give us a review. That would help us spread the word to more people. Pay this forward. Use the information. Go out there and be a professional. And I'll see you next time.